If you have multiple hard drives in your Linux machine, you must have noticed that after every reboot, all of your non-system drives are unmounted, and every time you have to mount the drives manually after each reboot. If this annoys you, you can set up your system so that all the drives mounts automatically at system startup. Let's see how we can do that. Open your terminal, run the command Pseudo BLK ID to see the name of your drive, its UUID and file system type. In the output of this command, the first column is the name of your drives. The second column is the label of the drive, if you set a label for it, and the third column is the UUID of your drives. First, you need to know the name of the drive that is going to be automatically mounted. For example, the name of the drive that is going to be automatically mounted on my computer is NVMe 0N1P1. Then you need to know its UUID and file system type. As you can see, the UUID of /dev/NVMe 0N1P1 starts with 1675E2F, and the file system is ext4, which is the standard file system in Linux. We are going to make a mount point under /media directory. Enter the following command: sudo mkdir /media /name of your drive. In my case, I'll call it data. Now, we need to edit the Fstab file. Run the command sudo nano /etc /fstab. You can use any of your favorite text editor in place of nano. We need to add another line here in this file. First, place the UUID of the drive here as above. Then add a space and put the directory path which you have created in the previous step. In my case, it's /media /data. Now, put the file system name. In my case, it's ext4. If you have NTFS, you need to put NTFS-3G. Now, in the options, we can write defaults here. So system will put all the default options. Using the defaults option is equivalent to specifying RW, suid, dev, exec, auto, no user, and async. However, it's important to note that the actual options included in defaults may vary slightly depending on the system and file system type. Let's briefly discuss the options. RW, mount the file system read-write. Suid, allow set user identifier or set group identifier bits to take effect. Dev, interpret character or block special devices on the file system. Exec, allow execution of binaries on the file system. Auto, mount the file system automatically during system boot. No user, only allow the user who mounted the file system to unmount it. Async, perform asynchronous I/O on the file system. These are the options applied when you write defaults here. If you are mounting NTFS file system, you need to tweak the options. Let's see the options you can use when mounting NTFS drive. Our first option is user. Add this option if you want to mount the drive as user, otherwise some permission denied problems will occur afterwards. The second option I will add no fail. Sometimes what happens, your system fails to boot or stuck in the boot screen if it detects problems in mounting the drive. This option will tell the system to ignore this problem and continue to boot. If you're adding any external drives here, this option is must, then you'll have an option to freely remove the drive whenever required. If you're mounting NTFS drive, you need to add an option, exec, that will allow you to execute files in your NTFS drive. For ext4, we don't need it. UID equals 1000, GID equals 1000. This sets the user ID and group ID that owns the files on the file system to 1000. In Unix-like systems, each user has a unique user ID or UID. UID 1000 is typically the first user account created on the system, which is often the primary user. The GID is the group ID of the primary user. If you want to know what is your UID and GID, just use the command ID. umask equals 000. This sets the default permissions for files and directories on the file system. The two 0 values at the end are related to file system dumping and checking. The first 0 indicates that the file system is not set up for dumping, and the second 0 indicates that the file system is not set up for file system consistency checking at boot time. Well, just don't worry about the zeros, it should be alright. Now, save the file by pressing Ctrl+O, then enter. Exit from the editor using Ctrl+X. If you're using any other editor, just save the file and close the editor. After all is done, do a reboot and you're good to go. If you want to know more about the options, go to this website. Here you will find all the other options and what they do. I will put the link in the description. That's it for today. Give a thumbs up to this video and share it with your friends if you found the content useful. Subscribe to this channel if you'd like to see more contents like this in future. And as always, stay strong.